Namaskar and welcome to StudyIQ. I am your friend Rahul Saigaonker. The agenda for today's discussion is connected to Indian economy, GS paper 3. We are going to discuss about central government's decision to impose certain restrictions on the import of laptops, tablets and personal computers. Recently, the central government, through a notification, suggested that from immediate effect, the import of these items would be restricted only to the license holders. As soon as this notification was released, there was a huge market uproar, and after that, the government deferred its decision. You can see here, India delays laptop import restrictions order by 3 months after an uproar. In this video lecture, we'll understand comprehensively why the government took these decisions, what would be the impact of these on Indian economy, and what can we expect going forward. Prima facie, this discussion looks like a discussion connected to Indian economy, but I would say it has macro dimensions. This discussion is connected to global economy as well. Our discussion is about protectionism. Our discussion is about protectionism versus free trade or protectionism versus liberalization. Earlier also questions have come asking connection between protectionism and liberalization. For instance, does the idea of protectionism go against the principle of liberalization? For instance, Atmanirbhar Bharat, does it conflict, or the notions of Atmanirbhar Bharat, they conflict with the idea of globalization? Comment on this. You will get very good idea about those as well in this discussion. It's a very important interaction, both from mains perspective as well as prelims perspective, because during this interaction, I'll be giving you certain inputs for MCQs as well, especially regarding the decision-making bodies that are involved here. All right, that is going to be the complete agenda of today's discussion. Let's begin our interaction. But before that, to all the UPSC civil services aspirants, this is one of the last P2I batches being offered by StudyIQ, which is starting on August 11, 2023, 8 a.m. The classes are going to begin. P2I is the most comprehensive program that is available in the market, where we will be hand-holding you through all the stages, prelims, mains, and interview. The comprehensive program is designed at a very affordable range. To get maximum discount, do use my code Rahul Live. All right, right. Let's begin our discussion. As I told you, the government first released a notification suggesting that from immediate effect, we are putting certain restrictions on import of certain electronic items. You can see here, amendment to the import policy, and the items which are listed under HSN 8471. We'll talk about this HSN as well. There would be some amendment to it. Now, what the government said is we are putting certain restrictions on what items. You can see import of laptops, tablets, all-in-one personal computers, and small computers and servers. Whoever is importing these, they will have certain restrictions, or there would be certain restrictions put. Now, the question is, sir, what exactly happened? Was the import completely banned? No. You need to understand this, because there was a lot of hue and cry in media, on social media as well. People were talking that India is taking protectionist step, India is looking inward, India, or people were talking that we are going back into the license quota Raj which was there before 1991. Is there any truth or reality to it? We'll discuss about that as well. So what exactly happened? You can see the products, the IDs with them, personal computers, microcomputers, other processing units. Earlier, the policy was the import was free. Now, for instance, say I am one of the vendors, or say I am looking to sell a computer or a laptop to you. Now, what would I do? I look for certain franchisees, say for example, Apple or Lenovo or Samsung, and I get the product from them. And what are those people doing? Those people are importing it from someone else, importing it from some other country, correct? Because manufacturing of, say, Apple MacBook is not happening in India. We import it from outside. All right, and they were importing freely. They were importing freely. There were no restrictions. There was no need of licensing. There was no limitation on the number of items imported. Nothing like that. Completely free. But now it has been revised, and now it would be restricted. Now, what is the meaning of restriction? Please try to understand. Now, the government has simply said those who want to import these items, they need a license. They have to register themselves with the authorities and get a license. That means the import is not stopped. Import is allowed, but import is now allowed only for the license holders, not for everybody. Earlier, anybody could import it. All right. And please remember, if anybody wants to import for themselves, for example, say I go to amazon.com and order from there itself, you can do it. That is not stopped. All right. If anybody is ordering up to 20 such items for R&D purpose, etc., it is not restricted. It is restricted only for large importers. They have to get license right now. That is the basic idea. All right. Now, there are certain ideas here. So, who takes these decisions? Who implements this policy? There is a body known as DGFT, Directorate General of Foreign Trade. This is the nodal agency or the chief body which administers India's export-import policy. Please remember, the mandate of DGFT is to promote exports of India. It makes sense also. It's not to promote imports of India, right? It is to promote exports of India. From MCQ point of view, it's very important. This DGFT, it is a body which comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and it is headed by DGFT, that is Director General of Foreign Trade. Now, this takes the decisions. And I told you in their notification, it was released that some products, HSN 8471. Now, what is this HSN? This HSN stands for Harmonized System of Nomenclature. Very important. These harmonized structures or these harmonized standards, they were finalized by World Customs Organization in 1988. WCO is headquartered in Brussels, Belgium, under the aegis of World Customs Organization. These harmonized system of nomenclature have been released for identification. And this HSN 8471, if you search, this defines, or basically its official definition is any devices that are automatic data processing machines. That means your computers, your tablets, your processors, laptops, etc. All right, they come under that. Now, why do we need it? Again, we need standardization at the global level. In India level also, we need this distinction basically to understand whether it comes under customs or excise. For that also, these numbers nomenclature does help. All right, it's clear. Remember these from prelims perspective, MCQ perspective. Now, what did we understand till now? I hope everybody is with me. All right, you need to understand what exactly happened. The government, it released one notification saying that from immediate effect, from today itself, people will not import laptops until and unless they will get a license from us. There was a huge uproar, and it would have impacted heavily on the companies or whoever is involved with import export of these things. All right. So after the market uproar, government did a flip flop. So it's a very good example for you to say how decision making happens, right? It was a rather kind of a knee jerk decision, or say a decision which was not made with complete thought, complete implications. As soon as the notification came after that uproar, the Minister of State for MeitY also got involved, and he said that we will provide a transition period. So very next day, another notification comes which amended the original notification and said that you will get a time to get license till 1st November 2023. Meaning, as of now, there would be no restriction. It was not from the immediate effect, but till October 31st, anybody who wants to import laptops who are involved in this, they need to get a license from the authorities. All right. So please remember, if there are some questions, are laptops banned? Is import of laptop bans? Anything like that? Nothing. No. Because there was so much of hue and cry on social media. People are telling from tomorrow you will not get laptops. There would be a lot of shortage of laptops. Price will go up, etc. Nothing like that. They are not banned. Please remember, the import is not banned. The import is not banned. The government simply said that now whoever wants to import, get a valid license from us, and then you can import. And the transition period is this period. After the second notification, during this period, get a license from this, and then you can very easily import it. And remember, these restrictions will not apply to passengers who are carrying. For instance, if you are carrying something from, say, you are coming from US, you want to buy a MacBook and come, nothing will happen. All right. So individual buyers, etc., they are free to get their stuff by, say, personal courier, etc. That's also quite possible. So they're not banned. The next question, sir, then why this? Why this? Are there any duties? Are there any limitations imposed on that? As of now, we do not know. As of now, the government has simply said that you are going to get a license and then you're going to import. Will there be any limitation on the number of laptops, number of pen drives, not pen drives, number of laptops, tablets, the computers that you import. Right now, nothing has been specified by the government. Clear? Right. Now, next question. Sir, why they have brought such measures at all? Why sudden shift? I would say it was not very sudden, right? Indications were there. The simplest answer for this is we want to become Atmanirbhar. India wants to become self-sufficient. India wants to manufacture electronic equipment, manufacture its domestic electronics equipment and electronics product in the country. Apart from that, we want to become truly Atmanirbhar and digital. And because of this, we took these decisions. Add to it, we have already created a policy. We have already given an indication that India, under the National Policy on Electronics, our target is $400 billion. We have already said this. Apart from that, there would be some of the benefits. If we slowly and steadily restrict, probably the next logical step would be to put certain limitation on the amount or the number of items imported. That we might see after November. As of now, nothing has happened. But why does it make sense? If you look at the device, let's do a simple exercise. After you watch the video, or you pause the video and pick up your laptop and see where is it made. Pick up your tablet and see where is it made. Most probably it would be made in China. The problem is, in India, we import a lot of electronics. And that's why India wants to slowly and steadily stop it. We want to produce them. You will not believe that in last 1 year, that means last April to this June, if you look at year-on-year data, the amount of tablets, laptops and computers that we have imported, it stands at about $19.6 billion. Huge amount. And majority of it is coming from China. So right now, we are heavily reliant on China. If you look at India-China trade, it has already crossed $100 billion, the bilateral trade. But it is completely skewed towards the Chinese. The trade deficit, it stands at $83 billion, 2022-23 data. And even if I go by some conservative numbers, out of this $83 billion trade deficit, I would say around $30 billion, it amounts to electronics and electrical related imports, which is quite huge. And if I import them, I am paying them in dollars. So what I can do is I can save millions or rather billions of dollars of foreign exchange. All right. Now, apart from this, there are certain other benefits. Now, if I am going for some sort of restriction, some sort of limitation that people will import less from outside, produce in India, make in India, then I would be creating jobs for us. Then I would be bringing R&D in our country. I would be building my own electronics manufacturing ecosystem. So, for all these reasons, the Indian government is taking such steps. Now, you must be thinking, sir, will it lead to success? Now, we have certain templates. I can give you an argument that we have followed a similar kind of a template for our mobile production. You would not believe that in 2005, India had zero mobile production in our country. Almost 100% of mobiles were imported. And at that time, it was only Nokia, which was a big player. And Nokia, the Finnish company, they eventually decided that India is a huge market. Believe me, India is a huge market, 140 crore population. It is an attractive market for everybody. So Nokia came to India in 2006. They set up their mobile factory in Chennai. Unfortunately, right now, in 2014 itself, it's not theirs now. It was eventually sold out. And the buyer again is another Finnish company which works for Apple. So from 2005, I would say from 2006, where we did not make or produce a single made in India mobile phone, we have come a long way. Today, when we talk about iPhones, so if you have an iPhone, just look behind it, probably you have a chance that around 20% chance that it is made in India or assembled in India. Why? Because Apple assembly setups or assembly units have already been established in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. There is Foxconn, Pegatron, Wistron. These people work very closely for Apple. So industry experts suggest that by 2025, 1 in 4 iPhones would be made in India or assembled in India. Now, why this has been possible? In last 15-16 years, from zero mobile phones being produced in India, there are many companies which are producing made in India phones itself. You do know that even Apple iPhones are now being assembled here. Why? Because government has been enabler. Government has provided many initiatives to the mobile industry. many initiatives in the mobile industry. They help last year 2022-23 was 90,000 crore through the production linked incentive schemes for mobile production. India's mobile production in 2021-22 was about 310 million units in India. Quite an achievement, right? So we have achieved that already with mobile phones. So why not laptops and tablets and personal computers? And to promote that, India has taken many steps. When I say mobiles, in general for electronics industry, government has taken many steps. As I told you, national policy on electronics has come in 2019. For IT hardware, PLI scheme is running, production link incentive scheme is running, large scale electronics manufacturing IT hardware scheme is running, electronics manufacturing cluster scheme was running, its modified version 2.0 has also come. Very recently, we were also running Semicon India program. $10 billion outlay has been announced. India has announced that anybody who's coming into India to set up a big semiconductor foundry, we would be giving incentives up to a tune of $2 billion. That is huge. We have also brought many schemes for promotion of semiconductor and other electronic equipments. We already have 100% FDI route under automatic route itself, 100% FDI in electronics. Electronics Development Fund has also been created. And I would say the logical step next would be what? I would reduce my imports. I want to reduce my imports. Because once I reduce my imports, I will see made in India stuff coming up. And that's why I would say licensing is there. As of now, no other limitations have come. Just government has said, take a license and then import. That's it. So it's rather a logical step. Now you say, sir, I understood, okay, why the government has taken such a decision. Yes, I may criticize the government on a little haste that it was announced. Immediately it was deferred also, but nonetheless, from November 1st, 2023, they have to get a license and then import stuff. So what we have achieved with mobile, can we do it with laptops as well? Can we achieve it? Because we have set so many targets under the National Electronics Policy, different targets have been set. Will it be easy? It will not be easy. Moreover, if we dissect the success in our mobile industry also, you will understand that our manufacturing is very, very low. I said that India produces 310 million units of mobiles, but a lot of its components, they come from China and Taiwan. India imports 90% of these mobile components from China and Taiwan and assembles them. So right now, I would say it is not make in India per se. Assemble in India is something which we find in our mobile industry, and that will also change once our electronic industry or electronic ecosystem, it sees a revamp. So what can we expect going forward? You will say, sir, why that decision? That decision is like an indication or a nudge for the companies which are involved in laptops, tablets, and personal computers. For example, say Apple. Now, Apple, they became smart. They have already set up their own assembly units, slowly and steadily moving from China, I would say, to India. 3 units are running. So now the government says licensing would be required for importing. What the company would see, that this is an indication, this is a policy from the government side, that now I have to make my laptops, I have to make my MacBook also in India. So the next step would be for that company to set up their own units in India, make India, produce in India. All right. And a laptop, of course, it requires many components. It requires the motherboard, it requires the different processors, it requires memory devices, it requires input, output, the computer screens, etc. And assembly has to be done. Yes, import of those items will go on probably for next few years, but we are trying to build our own electronics infrastructure. Once that comes, then even the local electronics products plus some imports, and then you will find a laptop made in India probably in the upcoming years. Yes, it will not be easy, but it's not like it is impossible. That's why we have taken these steps. So what would be the logical thing going ahead? Logical thing going ahead would be for the companies to invest in India. And India, mind you, why would they do it in India? Because India is an attractive market. I told you, 140 crore people, and we are becoming digital. India has the second highest number of smartphone users, and very soon more and more demand will be there. All right. So it's a huge market. It's an opportunity for the companies to come in India, invest in India, and make that laptop in India, make that tablet in India, make that personal computer in India. That is what we can expect going forward. Now, another question. Sir, you started the discussion with WTO as well. You said that India, the import was free because we are a member of World Trade Organization. So will there be any challenge from WTO? And I might say yes, to a large extent, we will see a lot of challenges from WTO as well, because World Trade Organization, it talks about open trade, it talks about free trade, barrier-free trade among countries. There is a concept of national treatment, most favored nation in WTO, and people might challenge based on those. Because you do know WTO structure is something like this, where ministerial conference, it is the highest decision making body. Below that there is general council. The general council, it appoints or it acts as dispute settlement body and trade policy review body itself. Now this dispute settlement body, it decides with respect to disputes among the countries, trade disputes. And India, I told you already, it's a member of Information Technology Agreement, where we have pledged we will be reducing the tariff barriers, we will be reducing the non-tariff barriers as well. All these things we have pledged. So imagine tomorrow we bring certain restrictions, will they be challenged? I would say most likely yes. Then you will think, sir, why are you arguing that it will be challenged? Because countries do it. Let me give you the example of mobile template itself. I told you we have made great progress in terms of mobile production in India, but that was not challenge free. See, I'll give you an example. In 2019, the government had imposed ICT levy, some sort of tax on imports of mobile equipment, now to promote our domestic industry. Now this was challenged by so-called India's trade partners only. All right. So from 2019, the case went on, and ultimately just a couple of months back, the dispute settlement body, it gave a verdict against India. They said that India levying the ICT taxes, it is not valid. Does this mean India have to take a step back? See, India has decided that we will challenge this verdict by WTO. So that is a silver lining, I would say, although I wouldn't say that it's a very good thing for international organizations. But WTO, which works on the concept of veto for every country, it has been dysfunctional. I told you there is a dispute settlement body. Now what happens? The dispute settlement body, it gives you the first decision, and this decision I can appeal. Where can I appeal? There is an appellate body as well. There is an appellate body of WTO, and this appellate body, it has been dysfunctional from 2019. It has been dysfunctional. Why it has been dysfunctional? Because it is being continuously rendered dysfunctional by United States of America, which has been obstructing the appointment of appellate bodies. So you must have a question, sir, what is happening from 2019? What is happening from 2019? Every appeal that is going on from dispute settlement body, it is right now going into void. That means in waiting. Right now it is in waiting itself. So why I am arguing this? There is high likelihood that once India imposes some future restrictions, then people will challenge at WTO, and we have this window. First of all, of the dysfunctional appellate body. Apart from that, India also has another avenue where we can contest it, because we can contest using the national security threat idea. The laptops, tablets, personal computers importing, and since we are becoming digital, our digital infrastructure can be threatened, that some kind of argument can be provided. So India has certain avenue. You must be thinking, sir, why did we discuss this last 5 minutes? Because we have that window of opportunity. What we are arguing is that even if it is challenged at WTO, the WTO appellate body is dysfunctional since 2019, and mostly in near future also it would be rather dysfunctional. And during this period, if certain restrictions have come, then our domestic industry would be able to catch up with others, and we can compete. Now if you think, if I ask you a question, is there any company in India which can compete with Apple MacBook? Or is there any Indian company which makes a laptop which can compete with, say your Asus laptop, or say Apple MacBook, or Lenovo laptop? You would probably say no. So we need this window of opportunity to build our own. build our own domestic industry, and then eventually compete with other players. That's the basic idea. All right. Right. Now, if this was a little technical for you, some people have a question like this: sir, whatever, I'm not a UPSC civil services aspirant. All I want is I want to buy a laptop in Diwali. This Diwali, I'm planning to buy a laptop. So, because of this government decision, will there be any impact? Will the laptops become costly, or will they be cheaper? I would say, as of now, there should be no change from technical sense, at least till November, there should be no change. But looking at these indications, you need to brace up yourself for some sort of increase or appreciation in the prices of laptops, tablets, and computers. Why? Post November, it might increase, or even now also, because since see now the import, now I know if I am an importer, now I know I have to register myself, and looking at the indications from the government, I might expect there might be some limitations after November as well. So what do? I import heavily right now itself, and I keep it. Hoarding or black marketing, right? I keep it. I do not sell it. I sell it after November. So after November, probably the prices might increase. But in the long run, it would be very beneficial for India as a whole. Prices will stabilize for sure, yes, and we might see a drop in prices in future. Because if it is made in India, if it comes from India, then we might expect the prices would be lower. All right. So that's the basic idea. That's the basic thought. Clear? Right. So this is the end of our discussion for today. If you like this discussion, you can always follow me on the ID at the rate Rahul Sai 222. Although I receive one particular message for which I want to address all the aspirants, all the students, all the viewers. They say that, sir, your videos are a little lengthy. They say yes, comprehensive, but they are lengthy. All right. I always advise to watch the videos at 1.5x. All right. I watch my videos on 1.5x. All right. So that is one of the workaround of the solutions that you can go for, because see, everybody has a different kind of teaching style. Everybody has a different kind of explaining ideas. So I stick to it. If I try to go very fast, I think that we might miss on some important points, some important things. So that's why I go with my own pace. Watch it at 1.5x. All right. Thank you for watching this video. Jai Hind.